everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. After his Angelus address in St. Peter's Square this past Sunday, Pope Francis spoke to those gathered about the fighting in northern Iraq, where Iraqi government troops and Kurdish fighters backed by a U.S.-led coalition were seeking to retake control of Mosul, the nation's second largest city, from Islamic State forces. Rome Reports has more on the Pope's address.
On Sunday, after finishing the Angelus in St. Peter's Square, Pope Francis expressed his closeness to Mosul, Iraq, which is being attacked by Iraqi-led coalition forces in an attempt to recapture the city. There have been a reported 284 Iraqi men and boys killed after they were used as human shields against the ISIS attackers.
In queste ore drammatiche sono vicino all'intera popolazione dell'Iraq, in particolare a quella della città di Mosul. I nostri animi sono scossi dalle efferati atti di violenza che da troppo tempo si stanno commettendo contro i cittadini innocenti, siano musulmani, siano cristiani, siano appartenenti ad altre etnie e religioni. Sono rimasto addolorato nel sentire notizie dell'uccisione a sangue freddo di numerosi figli di quella amata terra, tra cui anche tanti bambini. Questa crudeltà ci fa piangere, lasciandoci senza parola.
The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights has verified reports that ISIS militants were forcing residents of surrounding villages into Mosul, presumably to be used as human shields. As humanitarian groups work to aid those already displaced by the offensive, many were preparing for what's feared to become a mass exodus, with more than 1 million people thought to be inside Mosul. Catholic Relief Services and Caritas Iraq said they were prepared to respond quickly to the expected crisis and have already been assisting thousands of people who fled since the new offensive began October 17th. News from around the country. Archbishop Christophe Pierre, Apostolic Nuncio to the United States, celebrated Mass at the U.S.-Mexico border October 23rd, offering prayers to break down the barriers that separate people. Bishop Gerald Kakanis of Tucson joined the Nuncio and the Bishop of Mexico's Diocese of Nogales, Sonora, at the border fence in Nogales, Arizona. The Mass was the third such one this year along the U.S.-Mexico border in Arizona. The liturgies were organized by Dioceses Without Borders, an effort of the Diocese of Nogales, Tucson, and Phoenix to work collaboratively on issues that affect the Church and people in the border region. During his homily, Archbishop Pierre said that borders exist all over the world and borders are not bad, but borders should not be just a barrier, should not be a wall. They should be a bridge between people. Archbishop Pierre served as nuncio in Mexico for 9 years before being appointed as the Pope's representative in the U.S. More news now from the Vatican. With the recent feast day of St. John Paul II on October 22nd, members of the JP2 Foundation were at the Vatican for a special anniversary. Rome Reports has more from the Consistory Hall.
Pope Francis met with representatives from the John Paul II Foundation on occasion of their 35th anniversary in the Consistory Hall in the Vatican. The foundation, spearheaded by Cardinal Stanislaw Rilko, supports initiatives of an educational, cultural, religious, and charitable character, inspired by the teachings of St. John Paul II, whose feast day is on October 22nd. Attending the meeting were two of the four Polish cardinals, Stanislaw Rilko, the president of the foundation, and Stanislaw Dziwisz, former secretary of John Paul II, a circumstance that the Pope jokingly acknowledged.
Anche saluto il cardinale Stanislaw Dziwisz, che credo che ha conosciuto abbastanza bene San Giovanni Paolo II.
The foundation is mainly active in Eastern Europe, where it also grants scholarships to help young people support themselves during their studies.
In news from around the world, Archbishop Damian Martin of Dublin officially launched preparations October 22nd for the 2018 World Meeting of Families taking place in Ireland in August of that year. The theme chosen by Pope Francis for the World Meeting is the Gospel of the Family, Joy for the World. The Archbishop said the meeting would be about developing concrete ideas for the renewal of marriage and family in Irish church and society. Acknowledging that there's no such thing as the ideal family, Archbishop Martin said that did not mean we renounce presenting an ideal which men and women and young people can aspire to and hope to achieve. The last World Meeting of Families was in Philadelphia in September of 2015. And finally in the news, with the upcoming presidential election just a couple of weeks away, the Knights of Columbus are urging its members and other U.S. Catholics to pray a novena from October 30th through November 7th, the eve of the election. Supreme Knight Carl Anderson said in a statement that Pope Francis had said in reference to the U.S. election that we should study the proposals well and pray and choose with our conscience. And this novena, the Supreme Knight said, is designed to help Catholic Americans do that. The Knight's Novena, 9 consecutive days of prayer, asks for the intercession of Mary, the Mother of Jesus, under her title of the Immaculate Conception. Individuals, families, councils, and parishes are invited to participate. For more on the novena and the novena prayer, you can go to the Knight's website at kfc.org. Well, that's all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV network.